Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander viewers are advised that the following program may contain images of people who have died.
Having watched the hunters in action, what I very much noticed was there's never too much pressure on any part of their food chain. They'll spear crays for a little while until there's enough to supplement the diet. Then they'll fish for a while, and we fished with hand lines for a short period of time, and we kept probably 5 or 6 fish. There was no particular size, they just knew the ones that were good to eat. We kept those, and then that was enough fish. And then we went and had a bit of a look for turtle and dugong, unsuccessfully mind you, but very much I noticed that these hunters are tuned in to the habits and the behaviour of the animals they're hunting, but also how not to impact them too drastically.
This week on the AFN Fishing Show, Nige Webster visits the traditional landowners of Cape York for a very different fishing experience. Then later on, we join Nicolai Fewtrell in an exciting hunt for some hungry barra.
Just through personal acquaintances, I've been invited along as part of a Vietnam Veterans Party. A group of them have travelled up north to pay respects to a mate of theirs that served with them, a guy called Bonnie, who was part of the local traditional owners community, and in a way a very important link for me to get to experience this culture that comes out of this great part of our country.
Mate, we've never forgotten you, we never will. You're part of our whole family, and mate, we all love you, you're our brother in arms.
Being that the group that I'm a part of has been welcomed with open arms into this community is very, very special. There's a big ceremony being put on for us, dancing, socialising. I'm usually not allowed to dance, but in this case, I'm getting up and being taught how to do it traditionally, albeit badly. A lot of what I saw was very unexpected. To see bows and arrows out, and the type of headdress and war paint was, you can see that these people have been so much sculpted by our continent for thousands of years, and they very much adapted to that way of life. But the neat thing was to be so different from the way we live, and we've still got this common ground. There was still so much for us to talk about, and to see just how much they do love their community and their way of life was something I'll never forget. Being invited into this community came with it a really neat invitation, and that was to jump on board with a couple of the local community guys and go on a classic food gathering mission, which I just had to be there for. There was no rods and reels in the boat, but these guys were going out to feed not just themselves, their immediate family and their extended family, potentially 20 to 30 people. And it was a case of, let's just go out and catch whatever we can see and find. And the idea of that was too neat an opportunity to pass up on. The day involved keeping your eyes open and looking for opportunity, but then whenever opportunity presented, you could see this very much a clean process involved in terms of the way that they'd gone about hunting a particular animal, whether it's a marine or land animal, or trying to get the fruits of that animal's labour, so to speak. There was very much a way to do it that they very well communicated to me, and it was very neat to see some of that.
What we're about to show you now, I know some people aren't going to enjoy because we live in an age of conservation. What we've got to remember now is that we are part of the food chain. Pat's tribe have been eating turtles, dugongs, turtle eggs and the like. It's just part of their natural food chain. The one really important lesson to learn out of it is that they've learnt how to have a balance, which is maybe some parts of our community haven't learnt yet. These guys have learned how to handle hunting and gathering without the demise of species. Let's go and see Pat in action.
The turtle, he started about here. He should have been laying about here somewhere. And all of that, he just pushed all the sand back just to cover it.
Where it's been,
yeah.
Gotcha.
A very neat part of the day was seeing how the turtle tracks were observed, and very quickly the crew worked out that there was an easy source of good protein that the community loved in the way of turtle eggs sitting on the beach. For me, it was a little bit of a challenge to start with, having kids that have been right into turtle conservation at home and thinking, how do I go home and recount this story to my kids that have been so hell-bent on protecting turtles all their lives, where up the road from us you've got communities like Barra, where through human interaction and issues like light and development, the turtles there are threatened, and the community does everything in their power to try and protect every single one. And suddenly, on the other hand, now we're actively searching for turtle eggs, which I was to a degree intrigued in the eating quality of turtle eggs, purely because I've never been faced with that type of scenario before. And when it comes to me chatting to my kids about it, it'll be very much portraying the other side of the line, which is we are still part of the ecosystem. We still are actively hunters within our ecosystem, and just like the community up there are active hunters within their ecosystem. The main difference being that they found a way to balance. They found a way to find a measure of equilibrium within their environment and ecosystem, and they've managed it for thousands and thousands of years. And there's a big lesson there for everyone. Having watched the hunters in action, what I very much noticed was there's never too much pressure on any part of their food chain. They'll spear crays for a little while until there's enough to supplement the diet. Then they'll fish for a while, and we fished with hand lines for a short period of time, and we kept probably 5 or 6 fish. There was no particular size, they just knew the ones that were good to eat. We kept those, and then that was enough fish. And then we went and had a bit of a look for turtle and dugong, unsuccessfully mind you, but very much I noticed that these hunters are tuned in to the habits and the behaviour of the animals they're hunting, but also how not to impact them too drastically. The neat thing about finding common ground with a different culture is you tend to appreciate each other and your differences a lot more. I tend to find every day we turn on the news now, there's so much bad press about how intolerant we are of different cultures and the differences. And I think the moment you get onto level ground where there is a common passion, and in this case it was fishing, how the joking started and how easy it was to relate to another culture, but between us we both started to appreciate the differences, which I think is such a great lesson for anyone. One very interesting factor I noticed in terms of the cultures on the boat where we share a common ground is the young bloke without fail always gets the wettest spot in the boat.
Oh, there he is.
Gotcha. After the break, Nige tries his hand at fishing with a more modern approach. Nige has left the traditional owners of Cape York, heading south to meet up with Nicolai Fewtrell. Their plan to catch some barra with the modern approach of rod, reels and lures.
Oh, there he is.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Thanks for coming. Had to be one there, Nico.
It had to be one there. I'll get us out in the middle here a bit.
We played with lures a bit this morning already, working out patterns and stuff like that. And that's the beauty of lure fishing, is working out what's going to get you the bites. There we go. Thanks for coming. Beautiful little fish. One of our premier sports fish in Australia is the Barramundi. It's one of the target species of the day. Yeah, you're right. Yep. A thing up in there. Oh, there. Played everywhere. You have to think there's one in there, wouldn't you?
I knew I could see him there.
Yeah. Good work, Nico. Whew. Good hair. Yeah, I reckon he's eating that one, Nico.
He was definitely hungry.
He scoffed that. It's a good sign. Oh, chomping away, he's ready to go back to join his mates. There he goes, that for a big mouth, a big hard mouth too.
There's 5 clear reasons why you change a hook, or what we call retrofit. Particularly when you're lure fishing, the very first and most immediate one is hook damage. Bony mouthed fish, attrition on your hooks through snags and wear and tear means quite often if you're finding your hook points are rolling or becoming blunt, it's time to change those for a sharper model.
I've got it out, Nico. Nice bit of timber up there.
And slightly bent treble. Got my lure back, but bent treble. Now if that's a slight bit blunt, this is a prime time when you're going to go away and change your hooks. So I've come equipped with a whole series of different size treble hooks for exactly this scenario when a hook gets damaged. I'm going to quickly replace that. A brand new strong sharp model, and you're back in the hunt really quickly. Second reason we'll look to change our hooks is to make sure the style of hook suits the species we're targeting. In this case, we've got a lure set with silver hard duty hooks, great for barra and tough species like that. Maybe not so good on a species like our freshwater trout. This would be a great time to change and put on, say, our bronzed, slightly finer gauge treble, like our KVDs from Mustad. A simple retrofit job on a lure can quickly change the behaviour of that lure to better suit a situation that you're fishing. Many anglers now are familiar with the fact that lighter hooks changed with heavier hooks can quickly make a lure suspend better or even slowly sink, and vice versa. You can get rid of heavy hooks, put on lighter hooks to make it float more, just to suit that particular situation you might want on any given day, and it's a matter of just changing the weight of the hooks. Oh, acrobatic one. Kind of neat. What I've done here is I've weighted a lure so that it's slowly sinking. I'm fishing it less like a classic hard body retrieve, and I'm putting it rod tip up and just twitching it. So I'm letting the lure sink down into structure and then hopping it up and letting it sink and hopping it up, and it's often as it's going down, coming on and eating it. A lot like, almost, the retrieve is quite a lot like Nico's using with a sinking lipless crankbait. Just goes to show you, if you've got a lure that's doing one kind of thing on a day and you want it to do something else, nothing will stop you changing the weight of it by either adding some sticky weight to a lure or just changing it to put a heavier hook on. Make it do exactly what you want it to do. Such cool predators. I just love that bullet head, his eyes so close together and that big mouth. They're just made for bashing things. Even better when they're our lures that they're bashing, Nico.
I agree.
See you later. Oh, there he is. Yes! He came and ate it. They don't have to be big when you see him come up and eat it like that. When you buy a lure, you'll find they come with a predetermined hook size and gait, which mightn't suit every situation you come across when you're fishing. In the event you're targeting a species with a larger mouth or a tougher mouth, you might find it'll pay to go to a wider gaped hook, which will increase the chances of hookup, but also the retention of that hookup to help you land more fish. In many cases, a single inline hook can change the behaviour of your lure in your favour. And it's all about your imagination in some cases. Give you an example, a surface stickbait lure, got rid of some trebles, put a slightly larger single on the back, and I've also downturned it, and what you'll find is ripped across the top. It actually holds the lure in the water and also creates a commotion at the back. Also, once they're hooked, a whole lot safer when it comes to me having to handle them.
After the break, the action heats up as the fish start to get on the chew. There's nothing better than having a good fishing session with a good mate, and Nige and Nico are about to hit the magic hour.
So with your barra and your salmon, with the sinking lure, I like the wait till the lure actually hits the bottom, which is to slow twitch up and let it sink back down again. It's usually on the drop that we seem to get the bites. Oh, there is.
What is that?
Barra.
Whatever it is, man.
I know, grunner.
Grunner.
Look at that roll there, look like it's a barra.
Yeah. Came out and hammered it. Aggressive, the grunner today. Our Javelin Fish, or grunter, as they nickname because of the croaking noise they make when you bring them on board. Very good options on the bait, but they love a well-presented lure as well. You get your lure retrieve and choice right, you're in the hunt for these guys as well. Better fish, dude. He's pulled some drag. Do you want me to take you out a bit more? You know, he's got him up. Got him up. Hasn't jumped.
Staying deep.
Hey?
Staying deep, but it feels very barra-like.
Yeah, nice fish. Barramundi.
I didn't get a good look at him
Yeah,
now.
I think you look the right colour.
Yep.
Oh, he might do for dinner tonight, Nico.
Yeah, you might. Nice little barra.
I've always said there weren't a lot of big ones around, but there's plenty of numbers. And I'm not going to complain because they're so much fun. Just casting a mixture of hard-bodied and soft-sinking lures. It's a structure, it's a very addictive style of fishing, very strategic. and all about just trying to give them the right presentation, and so much fun if you can get it right. And the difference of getting your lure to do what you want it to do, and then having the hooks which will hold the fish, make it all the more enjoyable to put those fish in the bait. Oh, what are you calling it, Nico? Oh, you poleaxe that. Come to this part of the world, you want gear to be tough. Using medium weight spin gear, it gives us a really sensitive approach. 40-pound braid, 40-pound leaders, NMPE 2 to 4 rods. But our hooks have got to be durable because everything down there is given an absolute watt for it, and not always on big lures, so we've got to go with a hook size which fits the lure but gives us enough gape to hook the fish, and it also has to be durable enough. So having come here equipped with fine wire hooks, I've really come with those slightly stockier ones from the Mustad Ultra Point stable. They've done the job, put plenty of fish on the boat for us. Croaking away, not happy. Odd looking fish, you can see how they feed, snuffling around on the bottom there and sucking in whatever they can find. That little Xeric fish trap's hit the bottom close to him and he scoffed it in. Very nearly got home to some shelter as well, but I was able to keep him away. I'll get him back in the water. We got another one, barra. Hey, two on board.
How's that?
Well, mate, we started with the hard bodies, suspending around the snags, and as this tide's dropping, we're fishing some slightly deeper ledges. Got a lure to suit, sinking it down there. Obviously, you can see there's plenty of different species lining up. Mate, sun's starting to set. I know we've got a bit of a ride to get home.
Get them back in,
Get the ride home.
I think so.
After the break, will Nige and Nico stop fishing or in true fishing style have one last cast?
Got him? Yeah, that's a better fish. Little bazza. He's a bazza.
He's a bit better.
He's a bit better fish, mate. Nice fish. Nice fish, Nige. Nice,
Little bullets.
nice 65 centimetre specimen.
You can't get tired of that bite, that clunk. It's something you've got to trust everything from your knots to your hook holds. It's good to see them in the boat.
Yep, all the way there.
Awesome. Beautiful fish, mate. I'll get him back.
Think we better put him back in, eh?
Let him swim away.
Bazza.
It's a better one. Oh, he's trying to get there. Woo! That's the one.
Might be a little 70.
Sink it right underneath the snags to do it. Tell you what, didn't he go? Oh yeah. There you go, this side. You can liver it.
Yep. Oh,
Live him.
see how he's hooked first.
Just.
Only just. Netting.
Only just hanging in there. Yeah.
We got a bit of lureage here, but that's all right. He'll be 72.
Ah,
Great fish.
spanking new mustads. They didn't miss. Look at that.
Look at that.
Pinned in.
Not missing
I locked the drag on him at one stage because I had to stop him in those trees, and they have held on. Ah, beautiful.
Great fish.
That's all we came for today, Nico. Chunky barramundi. Like I said, I know the big girls aren't in town at the moment. This one's about as big as they're coming at the moment, but I'm very, very happy with that, as I am with every single one that came aboard today. So much fun.
All just as exciting, aren't
They
they?
are so much fun. Whew. There is the benefit of playing different lure types, mucking around with adapting it to suit the conditions, because the bites changed a couple of times today.
Pimping out your lures.
Pimping lures, we came across a couple of other boats and the boys had done it tough. Said they saw fish sounding, but couldn't quite get them to bite. It all comes down to presentation. If you can present right, sometimes that means changing the lure to do it. Stands to reason you're going to get more bites.
Absolutely.
And more bites, mate, means more fun for you and I.
Absolutely. Woo! Well done, mate.
Looking at a culture that's evolved over thousands of years and how they've adapted, I couldn't help myself thinking about just how quickly we have to change in our modern day times just through purely technology, and even how that's branched into the fishing side of life, and in no bigger way than just with our hooks, the pointy end of our tackle, and how quickly we can adapt what we do from a fishing perspective now just by changing the hook we're using.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.